Hi, good morning. To all participants, we will start our webinar shortly. So just please stay calm while we wait for others to be in. Okay, Assalamualaikum and good day. And also welcome everyone. So we hope you are doing well with life. I introduce myself first. My name is Farida, a GIS training and marketing executive, and will be as your host for today. And we also have Nurul Hazli as a technical support. So thank you so much for those who attended our previous webinar last 3 weeks. Your attendance and time is highly appreciated, and welcome again for today's session. A warm welcome for the people who joined us for the first time. So before we start, I have a few notes before we start. So the first one is I would like to remind you to change the display name to their real name, the first name. So we hope it could be done so we could address to you properly if you have any question later. So I already shared the step. Everybody can see the step. So it's just a very simple step. So you just can go to the participant icon and then go to your current registered name. Click on the three dots next to mute button, and then just select rename to change, and it's done. And another reminder is just for the mute, can you please help yourself to mute the microphone. Okay, so thank you. We would appreciate if you could put yourself on the mute mode. So for today, our topic is QGIS and tables. Will be presented by our main speaker, Mr. Lias Mokrowi. Just a quick introduction about Mr. Lias. Mr. Lias is a geospatial consultant at GIS Innovations Sdn Bhd. He has over 27 years experience in GIS consultancy with extensive experience in data manipulation, quality control, data analysis, data integration, ETL, desktop GIS, and GIS customization. He has worked across multiple industries in GIS implementation, and he is certified in various GIS and ETL tools. So to those who are not familiar with ETL acronym, actually it stands for extract, transform, and load, which are techniques used for high-end data conversion, data migration, and data integration. So for today webinar, we will divide it into two sessions as usual. So the first 45 minutes is for our speaker to share on the topic. And after that, we will conduct a Q&A for the remaining 15 minutes. If you have any question during the presentation, please type them into the chat window. We will address them during the Q&A session. Both Bahasa and English are welcome. So we hope you will enjoy the session with us today. So I think without further ado, I will turn the time over to our speaker. So let us all welcome Mr. Elias Mokori. Over to you, Mr. Elias.
Hi, Assalamu alaikum and good morning. Thank you very much for coming today. Hey, Farida, why is it that every webinar you add 1 minute? It was 40 minutes and 41 minutes, now it's 45 minutes of talk. Yeah, you're using too much of my time now. But it's okay now, that was just a joke. Hey, thank you so much everyone for being here. Today we are going to do, it's a very exciting webinar. I have added in this time, because we always start 10 minutes, we open the doors 10 minutes before the webinar, and you know, just to share with you which music we have been using. So this is on the first slide. Yeah, I hope that I won't go very fast when I do this webinar. Just we're going to talk about tables, DBMS, and so on, and then we're going to see what can be done with QGIS. I'm going to talk about the. Hang on a second. Okay.
The screen is not full. The punya screen untuk yang laptop tu.
Sorry.
Yang dekat slideshow ni, dia tunjuk yang dekat laptop tu. Bukan yang full screen tu.
Oh, okay. Hang on a moment, please. Yeah. I'm going to stop the share and reshare my. Sorry about that. So share screen. That should be screen 2 share. How about this?
Okay, all right.
Okay, sorry about this technical issue. So yeah, we are talking about data, and because GIS is all about data, not only location. And I'm going to talk about my point of view, my perspective when I started using GIS, how were the things and how they are now and how they have changed. And I'm going to talk about a very interesting government website, which has been available for a few years now, and to tell you what you can get there. It's very interesting. That website is quite interesting. But before that, let's just go ahead to the next slide. So you have seen the introduction by Farida, my colleague Farida. All right, so this is what's on the menu today. We are going to talk about what is GIS, what is a database, what is DBMS, because if you do GIS, you still have to know what is point 2 and point 3. We're going to talk about what some examples of open source DBMS, the difference between GIS and CAD, how does GIS handle data, QGIS supported database formats as databases, and then the same as files. And then we're going to do some demos. One is to load the CSV file with XY coordinates. And then we're going to talk about PostGIS or Postgres as well. And then we are going to see what can the DB Manager plugin for QGIS do for you or for us. It's something very interesting. So what is GIS? My definition of GIS is to look for what, where, or as I say in Malay, cari apa, mana. Okay, meaning that we are looking for information which is located somewhere, right? So when we have the information, we want to know where is the location. This is the simplest definition of a GIS that I've come across, and I always use that in my training. So I explain to the people, say, data is good, but it's better when you know where is the data. Okay. Oops. So what is a database? A database, this is a definition taken from the Oracle website. Everybody, I think, knows Oracle. So a database is an organized collection of structured information or data, typically stored electronically in a computer, right? So you can read more about this. I'm not going to spend too much time in explaining what is a database. I have put the link to the website for if you want to learn more. And at the same time, so what is a DBMS? We always say which DBMS you use, which RDBMS you use, a relational database management system. But usually we have the database, and then we need something to be able to manage our database. So what we have is, so a database typically requires a comprehensive database software program known as a database management system. So this helps, it's just like a computer interface to be able to manage your database. When I say just, but of course can do more. And then here they give a few examples of DBMS such as MySQL, which is more or less open source. You have Microsoft Access. That is the first database that we see or we look at when we install Microsoft Office. You have Microsoft SQL Server, FileMaker Pro, Oracle Database, and DBase. DBase has been around for a very, very long time. And if you use Esri shapefile, you know that there is a DBF file. That DBF file is actually a DBase format. So here we have the link to this page. You can read more about this. Some examples of open source DBMS. There are a lot of what to call open source DBMS in the market. So the one that we are the most familiar with perhaps is MySQL, which has been around for a very long time for database, especially for web development. You have Postgres slash PostGIS. That's the one that we use quite a bit for when we do save our database inside, our spatial data inside a seamless database. MariaDB, which is based on MySQL, right? When MySQL was bought over by Oracle, some of the developers were, or let's keep it positive, preferred to continue creating the open source product separately, so they created MariaDB. Then you have MongoDB, which is also popular software, but the one that we use quite a bit for geospatial is also, you have SQLite. We are going to talk about PostGIS later on. Okay, just remember this slide. All this information was taken from this website. I didn't search much about the, I know there are a lot more open source DBMS products around, I mean open source ones. So this is just a very few. You can find more on the internet. Okay. Let's talk about CAD. And I started using AutoCAD. I can't remember what was the version before AutoCAD 2000. That was very useful to create maps then, or just simple drawing of maps. But then in that time, there was quite a bit of a difference between CAD and GIS, because during that time, CAD, even though we could do a map with CAD, it was nice to see and nice to print, but we were not able to manipulate the data or anything like that. So we just put, for example, if we have a cadastral map, we just put the lot number on it, and that's it. So we won't be able to search, to do analysis or anything like that. That was in that time. But for now, you have a few CAD products that have embarked into geospatial. I don't have the list in mind, but I know that Autodesk and Bentley, they have something. They have something which is similar to GIS to a certain extreme. So CAD was nice to see, nice to print, whereas GIS is more on having dynamic maps. You can do interactive maps, you can search, you can do analysis. So that was something really, or it is still something great in that with that respect, right? But as I said, now you have CAD products that can do GIS as well. So how does GIS handle data? When you talk about GIS, we say GIS desktop or GIS product. We have GIS software such as QGIS. Okay, what we do is we look at features on the ground, things on the ground. Can be a river, can be a road, for example, and we will be able to convert that into an abstract of the feature on the ground into a map. So GIS depicts real-size objects from the ground or earth, and then we represent them as points, lines, or polygons, geometries. So we all know that. We all have been doing that. So each geometry holds a set or sets of coordinates. So if you have points, you have XY coordinates. If to have a line, you need a minimum of 2 points. To have a polygon, you need a minimum of 3 points that we close back to the original point. Then the GIS software will save that geometry and store it inside a record in a database. From there, it will link the geometry to the database. And whenever we want to do some to try to search for information, it would look at the information from the database and then link it to the geometry and make the selection. All right. QGIS supported databases. Let me just show you something. I'll show you later when I do more demos. If we look at the databases supported by QGIS, you have Esri Personal Geodatabase, PostgreSQL, MySQL, and Oracle Spatial. So QGIS supports that directly. You don't have to purchase anything. So you have also formats, files formats. I just want to highlight something. I consider the CSV being as some sort of a database in a sense. So if we look at the files, you have like a comma separated values, CSV, which doesn't require any specific software to to generate the CSV files. If we go further, I want to show you other things like you have open document spreadsheets, which is an open source format. You have also XLSX and the Excel format, the XLS that we all know. So QGIS supports these formats as well. Of course, it supports some other databases, which you can find here. Okay, so let's look at, just to show you how you can find all this stuff. Let me just open my QGIS. There you go. So if I look at this project, for example, all right, let me remove all these things which are not very meaningful. So I will zoom in. I'm going to change the color of the dots to something brighter. Right. I'm going to choose perhaps something redder. Okay, I'll give it a try, apply, okay. And then I'll make the points a bit bigger. Apply, all right. So I hope you can all see the points. What I can do is I can remove this, which is from the last demo, last webinar. I'm going to hide this as well. So these are the points that we have. And I can just select my layer and then click on the open table or open attribute table. So this is my data. What I will do is I'm going to put these two windows side by side. This one as well. So just to show you. So if I select, what's the selection tool? There you go. If I select these 2 points, and then here I'm showing all the features. I can just scroll down to check which one is selected. Okay, these are the ones in blue color. Or what I can do is just show the selected features only. All right, so if whenever I select something new, we show me only the selected features. Okay. All right. So by the same way, if okay, so whenever I select something new, it would be reflected on the right side, meaning the table. So you can see that the geometries and the tables are linked together. If I go back to show all features, okay, look for the selected features that they are. I'm going to select none to remove the selection, just to make it easy, so I don't have to search for the points. I will just select these again, and you can see that they have been selected automatically in yellow color. All right. So these are some of the ways to interact in the map between the data and, of course, the features on the map. We'll put back the OpenStreetMap. There you go. Now, what I wanted to show is that if you want to add data, any data, what you have to do is, let's say if it's CSV only, just click here. All right. Then you can choose your CSV file, whatever CSV file you want. We are going to show an example later on in more details. If you want to add just other data, like a database, you just click here on database, and you have the database which are supported by QGIS. So if I choose Postgres, because I have already set this, so I can view and I can just add the database in my view here. But I want to do that now. I'll show you another example later with more interesting things to do and share. Okay. Let me go back to the map. So other interesting things is that the information stored here in the data, I'm going to maximize the map view. So other things that can be retrieved besides just the table, what you can do is you can use the identify button. When you click, so you are going to have an identify result here, which represent only the record of the selected point. Okay, can be if the points are overlapping, then you would just take all of those overlapping points. If I click here, I have the same thing. Okay. All right. So that is one way to identify your data as well. Of course, there are other ways. You can have analysis to identify certain points. So you just do a query on the table. From there, you'll be able to to select a few points if you want to, or a few features. Let's go back to our slides. Okay. So in this next demo, what I'm going to do is I'm going to download a CSV file from a website, then convert the data into points. I'm going to show you how to do that. It's very simple. Then the file contains X, Y coordinates of all the locations. So we are going to load the CS file into QGIS. The data will be taken from data.gov.my. This website has been created by Mampu, Malaysia, the government department or agency. And what they have is it's basically open data. I think they're using, I think, I may be wrong, I think they're using CCAN as a background engine for this website, which is, for cataloging data and so on. We're going to see how you can search for data. Not all the data have spatial components, but some do. Okay, so yeah, this is the website. This is all the kind of data you can download from them. So what I'm going to do is they have some data from Jupem, which is the location of all their offices in Malaysia. And from there, what we'll do is we are going to create a map and start to interact with the maps. Okay, so the data provided is in a CSV format. You can preview the data before downloading, and it's free. Remember, it's all free. And we're going to load the data on our map. Okay, so to do that, I'll just drag and drop my browser here. I'm using Firefox, but you can use any browser you want. So what we'll be looking for is information, data set data terkini. You can choose also English if you want. All right, so this is the one that we're talking about. Lokasi pejabat jabatan ukur dan pemerintahan Malaysia Jepang. So this is the data. What you can do is you can download the data if you want to, or you can preview the data. So I'll just click on preview. We wait a bit, hopefully not too long, because the data is small. Give it a few more seconds. If not, then okay, never mind. We just let it run first. At the meantime, I have already downloaded the data. Yesterday it was very fast. I don't know why today it's not. Okay. Well, what we can do is just muat turun. Just download the data. I can just save it. Okay, it should be saved by now, but okay, this is just to show you the process. It's very easy. Then I go back to my QGIS. I go back to QGIS. And what I will do is I'm going to add the CSV data into my QGIS project. So what I have to do is I just click here on add delimited text. I choose the file name. Okay, I have already converted the file yesterday just to make sure it works and all. So I click on open. So here it will show me a preview of the data. All right. And you have the header of the data, which is usually the first line. And we have latitude and longitude. So just to remember, we always say lat long when you talk about the coordinates, what's the lat long and so on. But usually, and in mathematics, we say XY. So not to be confused for those who are just starting to use this, you just say long lat. don't say lat long, say long lat meaning XY. So longitude, latitude. So here they will ask me which points, where are the coordinates for the X field? So that is longitude. Then what are the coordinates for the, how do you call it? For the latitude, the Y, all right? So this is, we're using point coordinates, but you can also use other things like well-known text as well. That's another way to define the coordinates or geometrical objects, but we want to do that now. We are just keeping it very basic, XY coordinates, done. And what I'll do is I'll just click on the add button. I close the window, the dialog box, sorry. I will remove this and this as well. So you can see that these are all the offices in JUPAM offices in Malaysia. To make it look nicer, I'm going to rename it. Just press F2. Just put JUPAM offices Malaysia. Right? Then I'm going to make it look nice or nicer. I'm going to put, let's say 3.5 to make it look bigger. And I'm going to use some other colors, perhaps some, no, not blue. Blue will be like, more like the sea. All right, let's see something more purple or magenta. No, I just use this purple color. All right, okay. So now that I have all this, I can just add back my OpenStreetMap. So if I just zoom in, for example, I can see that here, Jabatan Ukur, I know it's in, okay, that is in Jalan Sultan Yahya Petra, if it's the main road. If I zoom out and go to perhaps Seremban area, okay. So we can see roughly what it is, where it is located. You can have here the big office somewhere in this building, okay. So this is one way to interact. All right. Other things that I have done was, if I look at the folder, let me check where is the folder again, properties, information. So this is the folder. I just click here. It will open my folder, the location for me. I have also opened the same file and converted it to an Excel format. Right. So what I will do is the same table that was in CSV, I converted it to Excel. And now what I can do is I just add a layer. And then I'm going to choose file. I'm going to choose the format. That is Microsoft Excel, Microsoft Excel. There is the file. I click OK, open. Then just click on add, and I close this. So if I open the table, open attribute table, I can see all my data from an Excel file. Okay, this is a very good addition because what you can do is we can merge tables using QGIS from a spatial table and an outside table. We are going to talk that when we go more in depth for what concerns tables and attributes. But the interesting thing is that we can just upload data directly into QGIS. You don't need any plugin or anything like that. So I'll just close this. And I'm going to rename this. I call it JUPAM Office Details. Okay, there you go. So just to give it a meaningful name. All right. Let's go back to our slides. All right. So we have added the points here. We know that they are linked as well with the table. So what about PostGIS? What is PostGIS? PostGIS is an extension to Postgres that allows us to save our data inside the database instead of having flat files. Flat files is something like SD shape files. They are flat files. Map-info-tab, they are flat files, meaning that it's just files that will reside inside our database. Inside our hard disk in a folder. Now, if we look at PostGIS, you remember this slide, right? It is, as I said, an extension to Postgres. I like to use PostGIS because it is very easy to install. It's free, and yeah, it's easy to put in data. I will show you a few examples. Let's take a look. There is a plugin in QGIS called the DB Manager. I'm going to show you how you can get that. And we are going to do some fun stuff, geospatially speaking. So the Database Manager plugin, after we install it, it will be available here on the menu. Just click on DB Manager. So this is the dialog, how it looks like. So we take a tour, we are going to take a tour, and I'm going to show you how to install it and how useful it is when you use QGIS. I have already installed the DB Manager, but I'll show you how to install it. You go to plugins. Just a moment. Manage and install plugins. There you go. So this is the window for the plugins, and then just put, just type DB. So you have DB Manager. You have other DB style, manage your style stored in PostGIS. We are not going to look into that. Just DB Manager. Once you have the DB Manager selected, you just have to click on install. This should be like install, and then it will install the extension or the plugin, sorry. So I click on close. All right. Now, if I go back to, I open the DB Manager. There you go. So it shows us all the database which are connected or preset in QGIS. I don't have, okay, Specialite, I have some data here. I'm not going to use that. These are just like some samples I downloaded before. You have virtual layers. If you have virtual layers from projects. I don't have Oracle Spatial. I have a few geo packages, but I'm not going to use that. I just want to use the data from PostGIS. So let's say if you have a PostGIS installed, what you can do is you have a database. This is the database that we have created. Inside there, I have a few tables. Okay, you have you can create your own. But what I've done is we are going to look at the data in public. So public, for example, here, these are some layers that I have created before. If I look at the 0.5 buffer, I just click here. And then I will right click and I have add to canvas. I'm going to add to canvas. As you can see that my data has been added. And the data is all read directly from the PostGIS database. And if I click here, I can edit directly my data if I want to. All right, let's say I will delete this. Sorry, provided does not support deleting. Okay, I cannot delete the data here, but you are going to see that in other sessions. I'm going to cancel for all layers. Do you want currently change for all layers? No. So we can see that we have the data here. And then if I have information, I will have all the data All these are the fire stations in Malaysia, which we can get from the data.gov.my. They have some files there also with locations, XY coordinates. And so I have, with the database manager, what I've done is I have, where is my DB manager? So I have taken data out from the PostGIS and just to view inside my map. I will remove the layer. When I remove the layer, does not mean I'm deleting the layer, yeah? So I just remove the layer, okay? Because I don't need it. And using this DB manager, what I'm going to do is, let's say if I need to have the JUPM offices points inside my PostGIS database. So what I do is I will just right click, pardon. So what I will do is I just put import layer file. Okay, so that would be, I can choose whatever I want from, this is taken from here. So I will take JUPM offices Malaysia. You have the option to import only selected features if you don't want to put all for some reason. And then I just click OK. And let's take a look at the public database. So I have JUPM offices Malaysia. So from there, what I can do, let me check if I can drag and drop. Yeah, I can drag and drop here. And I remove this. What I will do is I'm going to change the symbology to something nicer. Well, let me show you a trick. What you can do is, you see this JUPM offices Malaysia, you can just right click. You have styles, copy symbol, or copy style, sorry, all categories. And then I will just right click here. I have styles, paste style, and all categories. There you go. So I didn't have to edit anything. I just copied from this and put it here. All right. So this is just like a CSV file, and this is this is from our database. It's the same thing. Let's say this is a geospatial layer that I have added. By the same way, I can add something else. Let's say the Excel file that we have seen earlier, that we have uploaded. So I just go to import layer file. Instead of JUPM offices Malaysia, what I'll do is I'm going to take JUPM offices details. I can use import only selected features, but I won't do that. I'm going to import everything. And I will click on OK. And it works. All right. I go back to public, and this is my table, which has all the details. I can add it to Canvas if I want to, but there's no point to do that. We know that how to do that. I can just drag and drop. I just right click, oops, or just right click and add to Canvas. So basically, I find this tool very useful because if you do some edits and then you want to add data, you're using flat files, can be mapping for geo package, SD shapefile, SD geo database, and you want to update or add data into your PostGIS. So you just do the updates here, and then once you are done, what you do is, if you're sure that there are no duplicates, you can just pour your data in here in your database. Okay, so this is available for QGIS. It's free and it's very useful. Yeah, something, just something new to learn. It's something that people have been looking for, or people have been wanted to use for a long time. So you just have to import layers from Shape or from anything, and from this DB manager, you can just upload the data that you have into your database. Let's go back to our slides. We're getting to the end of this presentation, and this is not loading. Sorry about that, but you can just try again. If I click here, yeah, this is just for downloading. Let's give it a try again. That's weird because usually it's immediate. Never mind. Let's not look at it again. All right. So let's go back to the to our presentation. So we have taken a tour of this. So yeah, that's about it for today. We'll just make it short. We just shown some of the what do you call capabilities of the DB manager and showing that QGIS can support or supports databases as well. So you can just load any data or if you have any spatial data, you can or import into your existing spatial database, or if it's just textual, you can import into your existing non-spatial database. All right. So yeah, that's all that I have for today. We will be having another webinar within 2 weeks. We have not finalized the date yet, so that should be when is the next webinar?
10.
Sorry.
On 10 January.
Next webinar will be on the 10th of January. We hope that you liked this one and you will be with us for the next webinar. As usual, Farida is adding all the links in the chat box. But yeah, and we will be putting the recording on the webinar website. We will inform you when it's done. And if you have any questions, I think I'll open it for Q&As. At the meantime, because people always ask us the same question, how to contact you. So these are our details. And we have a bit of news before we start that, just to let you know that our company is HRD COP registered. So we can provide training on QGIS. QGIS is a registered, our introduction to QGIS training is registered. So if you are interested, if you have any questions, you can email us. Yeah, just send an email to sales@gis.fm. All right. So, okay, Farida, I'll let you continue. I think I need to sip a bit of my coffee, if you don't mind.
Okay, Mr. Lias, thank you for your nice sharing on today's topic. So congratulations also because we stayed in the time frame. We don't drag so much for today's session. So hopefully everyone got something. Sorry, I forgot to switch my video. So hopefully everyone got something new or additional knowledge from this session. So now we are open for the Q&A session. You may ask the question in the chat box, or if you want to talk, you can switch on your mic. So as I see now, we still don't receive any question. However, our Q&A question is depend on the question we receive. So anyone want to ask any question?
Dalam bahasa Malaysia pun boleh lah, saya boleh faham sikit-sikit lah.
Ya, bahasa Malaysia pun boleh ya. Tanya kalau siapa-siapa yang nak bertanya on the mic directly. Or if you have a lots of question, you boleh drop an email to us at sales@gis.fm.
You can unmute yourselves if you want to ask a question.
Okay, so kita still tak dapat any question regarding today's new topic, but I have question that is very general from Nurul Adha. So normally participant akan minta slide presentation, but for us we didn't practice to share our presentation slide. However, we will put our recorded webinar on the official website later on, so you can check the recorded webinar after this. Yeah, thanks to Nurul Adha for asking.
Okay, everyone. So if you don't have questions for now, I think we have reached the end of this webinar. Perhaps so nobody has questions. You can still email us if you want to. I let Farida conclude on this webinar. Perhaps we want to take a picture.
Yes, everyone, we will have the group Wi-Fi for a while. So if you don't mind, kindly turn on your camera for a while. We also will put all those photos into our website.
Okay, I'm going to stop sharing the this presentation. So yeah, please, you have all the details. You can send us info if you want to. Thanks. Anyone wants to open the camera, switch on the camera, please? All right, so I count until 10. If you are not there, then too bad for us.
Only 2%. Switch
Yang
on
lain
the
semua
camera.
malu. Yang lain semua malu.
Just malu.
3. Okay, lagi 4.
Okay, hi.
Okay, lagi sikit.
Yes, I kenal some of them. Hi.
Okay, yang lain semua malu. So, yang siapa buka video tak perlu bayar lah. Yang lain kena bayar. Alright,
Okay.
so perhaps we can do the print screens. Okay. All right. Thank you so much, everyone. And hang on, is that a question that we have here? Wait a second. Oh, PC tak ada webcam, tapi lah. It's okay. No issues lah. But yeah, you're welcome. Please, get. Just wait for the next webinars lah. So just to add on something, we do very simple webinars first, and then slowly we'll get it more complicated, and we are going to do more complicated things using QGIS. But if you have any questions, don't hesitate. Don't be afraid also. All right, so thanks a lot. Did we take all the pictures? Okay. All right, so thank you so much, and we'll see you soon.
Okay, thanks again for joining us today. So we humbly apologize for any shortcomings on our behalf. And so I am Miss Farida, and see you next year.